Jesus, you talk.
You should watch the second half now. There you go. This is all part of the act. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely terrifying to be here tonight. But thank you all so much for coming and making this nightmare a reality. It's genuinely scary. This is the second time I've performed in Dundee, but it's still scary. And thinking back to the first time, it was a real nightmare. I was terrified. I was really anxious, and I was thinking I need to get a grip on myself because if I continue like this when I perform, it's going to be shambles. So I said, okay, what can I do? I should probably treat this like a research project. So here's the idea. If I can pick a professional stand-up comic that best suits my personality and kind of use them as a template to build my set, that should probably help me out and ease the nerves and calm me down. I thought, fair enough. Now some of you in the audience are probably thinking, you know what, I kind of know which stand-up comic he went for. He must have gone for that Indian-Canadian guy. The guy that does that dialogue, Russell, somebody going to get hurt real bad. You're wrong. That's not who I went for. And second of all, we all don't sound like Apu from The Simpsons. We aren't genetically engineered to say the words, "Hello, my name is Jonathan calling from Glasgow. On behalf of Royal Bank of Scotland, how may I assist you?" We don't sound like that. We could if you were giving out permanent work visas. Then we could sound like whatever you want us to sound like. But I digress. I didn't choose Russell Peters. I went with the more logical choice of Frankie Boyle. And for those of you unfamiliar with the work of Frankie Boyle, let's just say getting calming advice from Frankie is kind of like asking your dog to take your Viva. But the reason I got into Bright Club and public engagement in general was when I became a PhD student last year, I realized that there was this perception amongst a lot of people that PhD students were a burden to the system, where we waste valuable tax-paying money all in the name of advancing science. And I took that a bit personally, and I thought, actually Bright Club is a fantastic endeavor because it genuinely allows researchers like myself, it provides us with a platform to engage with a wide variety of people and clarify that, in fact, we don't advance science in any way whatsoever. My research area is actually in behavioral neuroscience. I study that at St. Andrews, and I'm interested in memory specifically. And it's actually a very exciting time to be in this area because last year, the Nobel Prize for Medicine or Physiology was awarded to 3 researchers from my field. And as David alluded to earlier, they were awarded this prize for a very sexy discovery, which is often known as the internal GPS of the brain. And 2 of the researchers, Edward and Maybrit Moser, were awarded the prize for the discovery of grid cells. Now, grid cells, as the name suggests, are cells within the brain that fire in a grid-like pattern. And what this grid does is it keeps track of how far you've traveled as you're navigating your world in your day-to-day lives. So it's like having an internal pedometer in your brain, which is quite fantastic. What's even more fantastic is my supervisor has become a bit of a celebrity as a result of all of this. And that's because a couple of years ago, he worked with the Mosers on a grid cell paper. He was the joint lead author on it, and it was quite a big deal at the time. Now, the thing you need to know about my supervisor is he's a wonderful guy, but he just doesn't want to take credit for his achievements, right? He's very down to earth. And he isn't in the audience tonight, so I wouldn't dream of embarrassing him in any way, because he's not here to defend himself. All I will say is that if for some reason, and you happen to see him on the streets of Dundee, which is a possibility because he lives in Dundee, if for some reason you happen to see him, and I have no idea why that would be, please feel free to have a chat. If you don't see him, don't worry. I don't recommend emailing him at jaa7@st-andrews.ac.uk. Certainly don't call at 01334 62057. That's 01334 62057. I'd actually like to finish tonight with a little song. And it's a song I sing to myself every day when I go into work and every night when I finish. And it reminds me that the next 3 years are going to be quite challenging. But no matter what happens, everything is going to be all right. When you try your best, but you don't succeed. When you run SPSS and don't like what you see. When your data's skewed and you just wanna scream. Nova. When the tears come streaming down your face. When your stipend's worth 2 Tunox TKs. When your supervisor's forgotten your name. It's time to come take sight. If this research just isn't for you, maybe it's time to think of something new. How may I assist you? You dream of being published in Nature and Science, but even the Daily Mail won't touch your shine. Your thesis sounds like it's been written by Posh Spice. Fever Forever won't win you a Nobel Prize. If postdoc positions don't thrill you, pick up that phone and let your engine shine through. How may I assist you? You can sing along if you'd like to. It's not racist since I'm leading this tune. How may I assist you? Dundee, you've been amazing. Thank you so much.